Hey friends, welcome to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City a lovely place to live. I'm your host, Carly Johnson, with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Realty. It's a beautiful day here in Johnson City, and I'm here with the one and only Colin Johnson, regular host of the Johnson City Living Podcast, husband to me, dad, realtor extraordinaire, as well as many other things. So, Colin, it's great to have you on today and in the hot seat.
Carly, thank you for having me in the studio today. I really appreciate it.
Well,
I love that you have flipped the script. You've turned the tables, and we've got two microphones and we don't have a turntable.
We don't have a turntable, but we have Mitch. And
we got Mitch, and he probably got a turntable somewhere.
So, Colin, we're going to kick this off by me asking you a question.
Okay.
This podcast is called Johnson City Living. And so my very first question is, what do you love about Johnson City?
This is one of my favorite questions I ask people. What do I love about Johnson City? And I mean, it's almost a cliche now because everybody says the people and the mountains and just the weather. But really, we talk about this all the time, how just we are blessed to live in just an area where the people are fantastic. They love us well. They give their lives away. They help each other. They're just great. And so you guys are listening are just awesome people. And so I think the people over and over and over, and I have to believe that it's because we have a huge community of believers, and so they love each other well, and it continues to show up even if you're not, just all across the city. So it's a lot of fun living in Johnson City with you guys.
Yeah.
And especially with you is the real reason I love Johnson City.
Thanks, because I'm here. That's why you love Johnson City.
Yes.
Okay.
Like if we move to somewhere else, I'm going to love Charleston or who knows where we're going. Tokyo. Who knows where the Lord will take us.
Wherever. You just never know.
And I'm going to love it because Carly Johnson lives there.
That's right. Well, thanks for that. All right, great. Well, can you tell our listeners a little more about you? What do you do for a living besides host the Johnson City Living Podcast?
Right. Yes, I do host the Johnson City Living Podcast. That brings in a little money here and there, but it's not thriving like we're. But it's what is fun about it is it's just awesome because we get to meet a ton of people. But my full-time day job is selling houses. As you know, we have a real estate company called the Colin and Carly Group, and we've got a wonderful team. We've helped over 1,000 people probably now, or 1,000 families, probably thousands of people buy and sell houses in our market. And then I just got off the phone with Millard, our property manager. We do a lot of property management in the area, and I'm looking to grow that as well. So that's my full-time job, and husband and father and podcaster, like you said, and just volunteer a lot too.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Okay,
I'm gonna come back and talk about real estate with you a little bit more.
Okay.
But what I really want to know is I want to go back to, when did you become a Johnson Cityan? And why did that happen? Why did you come here?
When did I become a Johnson Cityan? That's a long time ago.
And I know you came to Jonesboro, but let's just say Johnson City, Jonesboro.
Johnson City, Jonesboro. Okay, so my dad did his postdoc work. He and my mom met at Memphis State, and then they moved to Athens, Georgia. I was 6 months old. I remember it like it was. No, I don't remember any of it. And then I do remember a little bit of Athens. We were there 4 years, I guess 4.5, 5 years. And then the med school opened here, and so my dad took a job there, and we moved to Johnson City. So I was 5 when we moved to Jonesboro / Johnson City. We were kind of in no man's land. It wasn't Johnson City, and it wasn't Jonesboro, but it was definitely East Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And then as the city's grown, Johnson City's moved up. Jonesboro is close, so I think they border each other now. But I think that little street's still in the county right there. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's been annexed or not. That'd be fun to look up.
It's interesting. We know all about your dad in the med school because you had him on the podcast.
Yes, we did. Yes, if you want to go back and listen to how the med school formed, you can go back and see that episode. It was fun
Dr.
to
David
interview.
Johnson.
Yeah.
It was really good. I loved it. It was one of my favorites that I've listened to.
Oh, well, I just love that you listen.
I do. I listen. I love it. Okay, so where'd you go to school?
I went to University High for 12 years and then finally got out of the 8th grade. And then I I stayed on campus when I graduated from University High. Went to ETSU my freshman year and then decided to go to the University of Tennessee, baby, Knoxville. Go Vols.
That's right. Then, almost as good a school as ETSU.
It's a definite second.
Second to ETSU, I would have to say. And did you play any sports when you were in elementary, middle, high school?
Elementary school, I played basketball and tennis. And my dad liked to play tennis, and so he took me out and we played tennis. And I just fell in love with it. So I like to play tennis. It was fun. And then
you're a good tennis player.
Well, thank you. You are surprisingly good too. I think
surprisingly.
Well, you.
I'm just joking.
You're just an athlete. You've got great hand-eye coordination. So
thanks.
You really do, and you could play anything you wanted to. You just, I'm just glad you don't beat me at tennis when we play.
Well, that's never going to happen.
But pickleball, I think you're going to get me. I know.
I think with pickleball, I'm going to give you a run for your money.
I think you will.
Because you can't sling the ball at me like you do with the tennis ball.
But I played basketball up until high school, and I wish I'd stayed on and played basketball in high school, but I chose to go the tennis route and played all tennis.
Yeah. And you're super tall, so I think you would have had an advantage playing basketball.
Yeah, except I was pretty lean like our son Christian, just thin, and I think I was a little, and so couldn't get in there and really, push around people.
Yeah,
and so
be able to do that a little bit.
But also found some golf clubs when my grandfather passed away, and so we started playing golf with my buddies, David Paduke and Jonathan Williams, and I would go out and play like 36 holes a day, and it was like $8 at Pine Oaks at that time.
Now that was just for fun. There was no. I'm assuming there was no golf team.
There was a golf team
at the time. Oh, but
you didn't. I wasn't on it. No.
Okay, you didn't pursue that.
I wasn't good enough.
You just played for
bringing up those hard memories.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If I had known that, I wouldn't have asked.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Well, tell me about your very first job. Very first job.
Oh, very first job. My neighbor said, "Hey, you want to mow my yard after you mow that one?" Because I mowed the yard like at 12 or 14. I don't remember when it was, but yeah. So I'd push my mower over at his yard, and then another neighbor said, "You want to mow my yard?" And so I had like 3 yards I mowed in the neighborhood for.
Okay.
I think they gave me a shiny quarter when I was done or something. I made like $5 a yard or $10 a yard. It wasn't much. And then my first probably real job was washing dishes at my dad's laboratory. So I'd walk over after school and wash dishes, and it sounds like I would autoclave them. I would scrub, like there's their beakers and flasks and all this fancy scientific glassware that I had to wash.
You had to wash them by hand?
I did wash them by hand, and some doctors were different than others. But so you'd wash them by hand, get them really clean, like triple rinse them with distilled water.
Oh, man.
And then you'd put them in this autoclave thing, which is like a big oven, and it just cooks anything and everything off of them. So they were and then I had to put some like a waxy kind of sealant before, right on the top so they never got any dust in them either would contaminate.
They have to have those pretty clean, I think.
I think it's pretty critical. It's pretty critical.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, that's cool.
Hopefully I didn't screw up too many experiments.
Before we get to the job you have now, do you have any other noteworthy jobs you've had in the past?
Oh, man.
That you'd like to share?
I've always had I think I've worked a bunch. When I was in college, I worked as I would run wire and cable for the networking computing center. And so I was and we'd set up servers and do that stuff. But I crawled through every ceiling and wall and basement at UT, like just running wire. And it was nuts.
I don't know why I don't know this.
You don't know that?
How long have we been together?
When we went to, I did say, I told you, I think when we went to the UT game, I was like, see, this is the stadium, and I actually ran wire through here, and they're like pigeons and all kinds of crazy stuff in there. And then we ran wire into Pat Summit's office. That was cool.
Man.
And then so like every building, the library, I was all over the place there. That was
Pretty
kind of
cool.
fun because it was worked with school and it
Good
was
experience.
good. I had a job at a mowing greens in high school. I fell in love with that and got a degree in horticulture from UT because of that. And so worked at Meadowview for 5 years and helped build a golf course, which is a ton of work and a ton of fun though. So
Yeah.
something fun. But yeah, I think the Lord made us like to work and get out there. And like, I could tell the other day when Christian mowed the yard, and I could tell just a sense of pride. You
Yeah.
get done, you look back, and you're like, oh, I've toiled the earth and made it better and made something prettier, and it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can tell you do like to work. And it's really good.
Yeah, I think we're created to
Yeah.
get after.
Well, let's go back to what you do now. So you are a realtor.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that you should take just a couple of minutes to talk to us about the market in Johnson City. So tell us like the market currently and then also like projected market, just because I know people want to know like what's going to be
Right.
going on in the next, month or
Get my crystal ball
6
out
months.
and talk about
Well,
it.
to the best of your knowledge and abilities,
Okay.
just give us either your opinion or something you've read from a relevant
Yeah.
source or.
Well, let's go back a little bit. For the last 2 years, the market's been crazy in Johnson City and the Tri-Cities. So if you've tried to move here, you understand it. If you've been watching the prices, obviously you have, but I'm talking to our listeners. If you've been looking at pricing in Johnson City, it's gotten nuts, and so it's made it hard for people to buy. I would say that the interest rates shot up last fall, and that really kind of slowed down the market a little bit, but we still have a ton of retirees here moving with plenty of cash, and so they're kind of like, we don't care what the rates are, we got cash money.
Right.
And so they're buying stuff up still. But I'd say right now, today's March 7th, and so as of today, it's interesting, I think. We're starting to see more inventory coming on the market. That was a problem. We still have a lot of demand because things are still, if they're priced correctly, going into multiple offers, which is frustrating for buyers because they lose their dream house. But yeah, and so I think springtime, we see more houses come on the market. Everybody's like, oh, I don't mind to move because it's not freezing and cold. And so we'll start seeing more houses come on the market. A lot of our big builders in the area, like D.R. Horton, they're going to build 700 houses this year to 1,000 potentially. So there are a lot, and then we've got a lot of local builders as well, like the Hicks, Tim Hicks, and Terry Worth, and Richard Tucker, and those guys are building quite a few houses too that are spec houses to add to inventory. And so I'm excited that there's a lot of inventory coming around because it frees up people who are sitting on the fence saying, oh, well, I don't have anywhere to move to. Well, they could buy a new construction house maybe, and then we can help them sell their old house. So that would be something I'd love to talk to you about if you're thinking about buying or selling your house.
Well, it's crazy because I remember like a few years ago, we were like, man, all these new construction houses, like who's going to live in all these houses?
Oh, I know.
And we thought, well, people will move into the new houses and then we'll have all these old houses sitting around vacant. And I was like, this is going to be terrible. We're going to have
us laughing about
old
that,
neighborhoods
that
that just die because no one lives there anymore.
Yeah.
And I guess that is not the direction it's gone.
No.
Because it's hard to find a house for anybody right now.
It is. And luckily, none of the neighborhoods are dying, baby.
Right.
They're all thriving and growing, and people are remodeling.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a contractor out there, I feel bad for you because you probably have 2 years of work and you can't get it all done. You feel like you're letting down people. And you could go work 80 hours a day if you had them, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's good job security.
Yeah, and I think, and that's another cool thing about the market is it's bringing an influx of contractors, and then with all the money coming in, that's only going into our local economy. We're helping people remodel and build houses, and they're putting a lot of money into our local economy. So I'm glad that people are moving here and growing our area. It's helping out for sure.
Okay, what do you feel like have been some of the most difficult challenges you've faced as a realtor, either lately or in the past?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think the challenge, like last year, we had a couple right 12 offers on a house, and they finally got the 13th, and so having people
Frustrating.
in multiple offer situations 12 times and lose the house, at the end, they're just kind of like, you can just feel they're deflated. And we love, it's your house, right? You and I love to have people get their dream house.
Yeah.
We want them to be happy there. That's where they're going to have their family. And so they're kind of like, oh, this is the one. And then, nope, sorry, it's not the one. Oh, this is going to be the one. Nope, sorry. At the end, they're just kind of like, can you just get us in a house?
Yeah.
We just
Get
need
us in a
someplace to
house.
live.
And
so,
sometimes it does end up just being, a house that's temporary. But on the flip side, we've had some situations where people have gotten into their third or fourth choice, and then, a year later, they're like, oh, we're so glad that those other ones didn't work out.
yes, agreed.
So,
Yeah, the Lord has a plan for sure. And so,
yeah,
but you just like, oh, was it really the 13th house? But this
that's a
couple,
lot.
that's
Yeah.
a lot. And they're happy. And so that's good. So that's been challenging, the multiple offer thing, the rate going up. People, who are looking at, say, a $500,000 house are now looking at $400,000 houses. And so that only continues to make more pressure on the market, right? Because there are more people who are looking in that same range. And so that's been difficult. You and I know that being on commission over the years has been difficult because we don't make a penny unless we sell a house. And
Right.
so those have been challenges. You and I'll have conversations like, oh, it's getting a little tight, and so luckily the Lord continues to show up and help us find buyers and sellers and provides for our family. And so,
Yeah, and it's cool to be able to get to do something you love and also let that be the way you make your house payment and, pay for food and school and all the things that we have to pay
yes, I love helping people. You love helping people. I think the Lord put us together because we like to help people, and it's a blessing for sure to be able to do something you love. So it's a lot of days it doesn't even feel like work. It just feels like I'm hanging out with my friends and helping them find a house to buy, And
Yeah,
so
yeah, and a lot of times they are your friends.
a lot of times
And a lot of times they are before you start the process, and then many times they are by
That's
the time
right.
you get finished.
Yes.
I don't know that. I mean, have you had a situation where you've worked with anybody and they don't become your friends?
Um, I would.
I don't think
There are a
so.
few that have been a little challenging, but no, I think I'd want to be friends with everybody. The tough thing is now, since we've done it 1,000 times, it's hard. So if you're listening and I've sold you a house and I see you in the grocery store and I'm like, oh, hey, you, I don't, because we've done it so many times. I do want to be friends with you, but sometimes I'll forget who they are.
Thousands of people. It's
Forget
hard
the
to
names,
be
right?
friends with a lot of people.
Yeah, but during the process, I mean, I really we're emotionally invested together.
Yeah.
Like I really I'm gonna cry with you if we don't get the house, and we're gonna pray to make sure you do get the right one, and I'm gonna cheer when we do get it under contract. And I'm like, I get super excited.
Oh, I know. I know you
Wrote
do.
an offer this morning for a friend of mine, and I'm like, come on, let's get this house. So I'm
I
excited.
definitely see that. It's exciting. Because as you know, I don't work directly with the people much. So I get to hear stories from you, and I get to kind of know them secondarily.
Yeah. No, you're great at your role.
I'm in the background.
For the listeners, Carly handles all the finances in the background. She pays all the bills. She handles payroll. She makes sure everybody gets paid. She's checking all the stuff. And then if you ever close a house with us as a buyer, you're going to get this just amazing basket full of goodies and love and just cool stuff. And Carly is a basket making machine on our team, and
Thanks.
she takes. What's cool is you personalize each basket. You're like, where are these people coming from, and what's their story, and what are they like, and
It's the most fun. Like it's my favorite part of the job. So I'm always like, come on, guys, we need to sell more houses to buyers because I need to make some baskets.
make some
Like
baskets.
that's the funnest part of my job. So
'cause
let's
you get to go shopping.
I get to
for
go
our
shopping,
people.
and I just like ask you guys to tell me a little something about the people so I can think about what they might like. And then part of it is I'm like, what would I want if I were getting a basket right now?
Right.
So I'm usually thinking about it like that. But yeah, I do. I do love what I do. And it's cool that after you've worked with somebody for a while and I've heard about them, and finally I'll get to meet them somewhere and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I know you.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't
know each
we
other.
haven't met each other yet, but I do know you. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, Do you do other things besides real estate on the regular? Like, I know you mentioned volunteering earlier, or you're on some boards and you volunteer some places. Tell us about some of that stuff.
I had a blessing to be a part of Rise Up, which is a local youth ministry, after school care. We mentor kids basically, and so been a part of that for probably 6 years now, helping out with the board on that. Um, Another one I've been on for quite a while now is the Johnson City Housing Authority, and so that's near and dear to our hearts, right? We want people to have awesome housing in town that can't afford it, and so
Right.
been just lucky to be able to serve there, and I think it just kind of hand in glove kind of thing for me because of the housing situation, and it's been a lot of fun. And then love serving at Redstone. You and I both volunteer a ton of time at our church because we love it and we love the people and want to see it thrive and grow too. So.
For sure.
Yeah, I think we're meant to give our lives away, and so that's what the Lord keeps telling me to do it until I can't do it anymore, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And you do a good job at it.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome. Let's see. Do you have any big projects in the works at the moment? Like whether that's at work or
Is this
at
a loaded
home,
question?
or it's loaded. It's a loaded question.
Loaded question. We
Or
have
in any of your volunteer capacities.
yes, we got all kinds of stuff going on. One big project we have now is our basement
Oh my
project,
goodness.
where we are remodeling our basement, which for the listeners, I am like the most optimistic person you'll ever meet. I
Oh.
think like it's never going to rain, and it's going to rain. If it does, it'll rain marshmallows and we can just eat them and it'll be awesome.
You're not wrong about that.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly who you are.
Right.
Which is great because
Yes.
you sometimes tell me I'm a pessimist but you know that I'm not. You know I'm a realist, and those are two very different things. But
Yes.
I'm not necessarily an optimist, but you definitely are. You're off the charts. And so when did you say you thought our basement would be?
I think we made a bet or wrote down a number or
We
something.
did.
I said it would be done by the end of January.
Yeah.
And it's March 7th today, and
7th.
we still have.
How far along? Is it almost done or?
It's in my non-optimistic way. It's probably 60% done. Maybe
Oh
we
my
gotta
goodness.
still got sheetrock mud to finish, and the guy's painting, and yeah, I don't know why this guy just decides to show up when he wants to show up and doesn't when he doesn't. And so we're
That's
trying to love him well.
we still really like him.
We like him. He's a nice guy, but we're like, come on, man, we need to get this done.
Well, and so I mean, I think I was even optimistic because I said end of March.
You said end of March.
And I don't even think that's going to happen. So
No,
we were both.
but we may
optimistic.
make like we're not going on spring break.
We're going to work on it on
we're
spring
working on our
break.
basement, so I think we
gonna be
can get
fun.
some stuff done.
It's going to be super fun.
It'll be fun. Other projects, Rise Up. We want to mentor another 100 kids in the next
yeah.
few years. That's our goal there. For the Housing Authority, we've got lots of projects going on there. We house over 2,000 families a month
Wow.
in some way or another. And so I think as Johnson City is growing, I think we really are burdened to increase that number, which means we're going to need to build some more, some more homes. So we've got some big complexes that we're going to develop, and it's going to be awesome. So yeah, we got a lot going on.
That's
And
great.
then Redstone, it's growing and thriving, and we're praying for land and a building sometime soon. So that's a big project as well that I hope comes to fruition.
I hope
So,
that turns into an actual project
yes,
soon.
yes.
That's awesome. Oh, I forgot to ask you back in the real estate world. Let's go back there for a second. I forgot to ask you who your favorite coworker is.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, I'm going to go with you
Okay.
first, just
We,
because you're here and
right.
Tammy's not.
I know. We all know it's Tammy.
Tammy
I just
Whiteside is our admin person. She's fantastic.
She gets a major shout out right now because we could not survive without her.
No, anybody that can put up with me on a regular basis.
Oh my goodness.
And not be married to me and like in a covenant relationship where basically you're stuck. So
Yeah.
she's great.
She is amazing. I mean, we love our whole team, and they're all incredible. Tammy guides the ship and makes things
Tammy keeps it all going.
Yeah, she really does.
She's great.
Okay. One more kind of serious question before, not super serious, but before we move on to the really fun stuff. Have you read any books or listened to any podcasts lately that have inspired you?
Ooh. Yes, I have.
I could have asked you this in advance, and
You could have,
forgot.
but it's okay. It's okay.
You're pretty good on the fly.
Reading a book slowly. I'd say I'm reading it, but because I got a lot going. I like a lot of. I don't know. I feel.
You read a book. You take a long time to read a book because you can only pick it up occasionally.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about me.
Well, you're busy. That's what
I guess, but I don't like. There's some times where I'll get a book, like a John Grisham novel, and I'll like read it back in the day. But I haven't done that in probably 10 years. So.
But also, you fall asleep when you start reading because it makes you sleepy.
It does make me sleepy.
So that doesn't help.
I don't know.
Well, so, anyway, you're reading a book.
Yes, strengths to strength as I'm in the middle ages of middle age. I am, looking towards, like what does the next half of my life look like? And you and I have been talking about this and doing some life coaching with Jim Fickley, our friend. Give him a shout out if you want life coaching. Call Jim Fickley. He's awesome.
He's incredible.
And so, strengths to strengths I'm reading. I've been listening to some different podcasts. One's called Win, Make, Give with a friend of mine, Chad Himes. He's my coach. She gets a shout out too. And he's on there, and that's a kind of a real estate-y podcast, but it's about life, and they're doing a wealth series right now, so it's awesome. If you want to go to Win, Make, Give and check it out, it's one that just kind of inspires me.
I've been listening to that one too because you told me to listen to it.
Yeah, it's good. And then
it is good.
They in that same podcast group, they have a guy, Chuck Swindoll, or is that right? Yeah. Clint Swindoll, Chuck's son, called Tell Me Something Good. And so he was like, hey, I don't want to hear negative stuff. I just want to put positive stuff on the airways. And so he puts all this fun stuff out there, which is kind of fun. Yeah. And then, which speaks to my positivity. And there's also another one called Built How podcast on solely interviewing real estate agents who are, just crushing it. And so it's inspiring to me to listen to those guys. Like, we typically sell 100 houses a year. These folks are selling 5,000 houses a year. Wow. And they've built just a massive teams. And so I feel like you and I are called to get there somehow. But I think we just need to figure out how, in my mind, we can do it and not lose that personal touch.
Yeah, I was going to say at $3,000 a year, there's no way we're going to be able to be friends with all of the people we sell houses to.
That's what disappoints me about it. I think that's why we haven't driven to do it.
Maybe
I want to be super friends with everybody.
I mean,
but
that's okay.
We can let Katie and Elijah be super good friends with these people.
Shout out to Katie and Elijah.
Yeah, we've got two buyers agents. They're great. Katie
They're amazing.
Owens, we get to go to church with her too, and her husband is a great contractor-y dude. If you need anything done, call us and we'll hook you up with John Andrew and his dad. And then Elijah Wilson just came on the team. He's a newbie, and he's excited, and we're excited to have him on there, and I think he's going to grow and flourish and do well helping our buyers that are looking for properties too, which frees me up to hang out with sellers a little bit more.
That's right.
Which I did yesterday with my buddy Chad Landris.
Yeah, I like Chad.
I do too, and I just was like, I looked down and I think I'd been there 2 hours just talking to him, catching up.
That's easy. He's so personable.
He is very personable. Yeah.
He used to work on our Land Rovers back in the day.
He did. He's such a nice
Land
guy.
Rover expert.
Yeah, I know.
But he's done so many different things. Yeah. I mean, didn't he rescue dogs for a while?
Well, he had sheepdog rescue, which went into, I think because he had a sheepdog and it took him, he would take it with him. And they would go to the worst of the worst, right? A hurricane comes in, and he had this storm relief trailer full of chainsaws, and he'd go in there and just work his tail off and help out. And he also does, he's a firefighter, a volunteer firefighter, and he does, water rescues and all that fun stuff. I mean, he's just one of those guys you look at and you're like, man, you get a lot done, and
that's cool.
It's really cool. But he's moving to Greensboro, North Carolina for a new job, and so we get to help them sell their house here. Yeah. And transition.
But just to clarify, so his business was just called Sheepdog Rescue, but he did not rescue sheepdogs.
No.
Okay, because that's what I thought he did the whole time.
Oh.
So I'm glad you clarified that.
No, he rescued
But
more people.
More,
Maybe
he
there's some
rescued
sheepdogs he
people.
rescued.
Oh, I guarantee you he would rescue
Yeah,
a
for
dog
sure.
if he found one in need.
For sure. But
Okay.
his day job is he is a oils and lubricant specialist, and
Okay.
like he's one of the top guys in the country for knowing like the type of oil, and he does a lot of commercial stuff that
Yeah.
it's just crazy. Like you don't even think about that, right?
No.
You're like you just see these massive machines running around. You're like, oh, I don't know what keeps that track on the thing and without getting geared up and burned up, and it's some kind of special grease that you have to put in there every 2 hours or whatever. I don't know.
You know, Chad's so interesting. I think you should have him on the
I
podcast
agree.
before
Plus,
he
he's got a
moves.
cool voice. Yeah,
Because he's from where's he from?
I think England originally,
Yeah, he's got a great accent.
but he's kind of been here a while.
He has. He's got kind of
Yesterday,
like,
I was kind of like, "Are you still from England?" But
yeah. It's kind of like your mom. He
Yes.
can kind of switch back
Yes,
and forth between the accents.
yes.
Okay, well, let's move on to some fun stuff. Okay,
I'm having a blast the whole thing, but
I know it. I mean, it's all fun, but okay, these
if
are
we
just
could do
some-
this every time, this would be a lot of fun. But I think the listeners would get bored.
I think they would get totally bored just listening to us talk about
But,
things like our basement and
yeah, they're like, we don't care about that.
yeah, nobody really cares long term.
But I will go on the record saying you are doing a fantastic job hosting. Like,
Thanks.
yeah.
I've
Mitch even gave you a coffee raise. Cheers to Carly. She's kicking butt on the
Thanks,
on
Mitch.
the podcast.
Well, and Mitch knows because he's the expert. So
I know, and I'm actually a little worried. I think there's a coup to put you in and kick me out. So that's good.
Mitch and Marissa.
Whatever's
and
better
I,
for the listeners.
we did
Whatever
have
you
a little
guys want is
conversation.
what we want.
No, I don't think that would be a good idea.
I think it'd be great.
You're really good at this job, and the reason that I'm getting through it as well as I am, if I am, is because I've listened to all but I think 2 of yours that you've done. So I just need to catch up on those last 2, but yeah, I've just listened to them, and I'm kind of just trying to do what you do. So there you go.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're going on a date night. Where are we going? And I'm going to tell you if you're wrong, by the way. So just know that.
Oh man.
I know you're not familiar with that concept, but it's going to happen.
Okay, so yeah, there's some places I won't say. So
What do
we
you
had the
think?
blessing to go to Juniper the other day for our
Yeah, we
anniversary. We were
did.
married
That was-
17 years
That's right.
a few days ago, and so
That was a lot of fun. Juniper's is
Juniper is
pretty
nice.
excellent.
Yeah, it's really good. Bring your checkbook, but it's good.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good date night.
Yeah. Well, what about a more casual?
More casual date night is probably Barbaritos, where we just sit outside.
Yeah.
Now that it's warming up, we'll sit on the patio.
Yeah, I love
Take you
going
for a
to.
little burrito. Monday, you get a burrito and a drink, and it's like $6 or $8.
We did that yesterday.
We did it yesterday.
Not for date night, but like for
That was date lunch.
work lunch.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Right.
did that. That was
Right.
fun. I mean, I'll always go to Barbaritos for
Yeah.
work lunch, date lunch, yeah.
Wow. Sometimes we
one of
go
my
to
faves.
Aubrey's.
Yeah.
They had we've done that a bunch. We would do
A lot of salads.
they've got a great kale salad. I don't like kale, but I like their kale salad, so that's good.
Gourmet is another
Gourmet is a
lunch
nice
spot
fancy.
we love.
Yep, date lunch. We do date lunches on Fridays. I think that's like our.
Well, you call it a date lunch, but I feel like we we talk about work a lot,
We
which
do
is
talk about
fine
work.
because I mean that's kind of what we do, really.
Yeah.
We like to talk about work.
We should probably work on our work-life balance.
I don't know. I think it's kind of fun to talk about work.
Yeah.
It gives you something to look,
Well, and it's
Something
not
we
really
have in
work because we
common.
love our people. So
That's
a lot of
right.
times we're just talking about different folks and
yeah.
looking for houses for them and
And working on our homework for Jim Fickley.
working on our homework for Jim Fickley. For sure.
Okay. Well, what about if you had to? I hate to ask someone like, "What's your favorite this?" But like, what's one of your favorite burgers in town?
Ooh, Red Mizet.
I know.
I like their burger. So it's got, I don't even know what that Euro meat is made out of. It's probably squirrel or something, but it's fantastic. And it's on top of a burger patty. And it's just delicious. And then they've got this red sauce that goes with it. Oh, so good. And they have these little shoestring fries that come on the side.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I've never seen you get anything besides that.
Well, the rest of it's got a lot of vegetables and stuff on it.
Yeah.
Who wants that?
You're-
Nobody wants that.
You're not a big fan of vegetables.
Although you get a shepherd salad, which is like a little chopped up bowl of perfectly chopped up vegetables and some oil or something that's super healthy, and just.
I do.
I don't know how you eat that. You eat like a bird.
It's awesome. Okay. So
That's one burger. Pal's has got a great burger.
you can't go wrong with the Pal's burger.
Label's got a great burger.
You just tell us about all the burgers you love.
What's Mid City Grill? They have a good
yeah.
burger, and they've got a good veggie burger over there. If you're looking for a veggie burger,
When did you have a veggie burger and why?
I ate over there with Chris Shea, my buddy, and I had a veggie burger. I was like, hey, look, I'll give that a try.
Now, do they have real burgers too?
They have real burgers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Wasn't
real
sure.
burgers and yeah.
Okay.
But I think, we've talked about this before. I think you and I should do like the best burgers in town.
We should do burgers.
Best tacos in town, best pizza in town.
Yeah, I think so too, because, we did coffee and.
But we haven't done this new moon place.
Well, hold on 1 second. So before I'm going to get to that in just a second, but tell me what one or two of your favorite pizza joints.
Ooh. Oddly, one is Cootie Brown's. I love their pizza.
Yeah.
The other one's a little odd because you don't think of a Greek place being a great pizza place, but they make a fantastic little pizza, personal pizza. And
At Mad Greek.
At Mad Greek.
Yeah.
I get the barbecue chicken with jalapenos and pineapples.
You just
had
had
barbecue
that
sauce. It's delicious.
this weekend.
Yep. Sims, give a shout out to my boys at Sims Monday nights. You can go to Monday Night Slice Night. It's like dollar slices, and they've got fantastic pizza. Taylor over there will take great care of you, and it's just awesome. So those are probably my favorite pizza places.
Agree. I love that pizza too.
There's that other place. It's I don't know if you've heard of it, Papa John's.
Now you guys do get Papa John's occasionally.
Christian likes the stuffed crust. I want to get stuffed crust, Dad. So let's get those Papa John's.
Do that. Okay. Now that Peggy Ann's is gone from our area,
I have to hurt my heart, don't you?
I know. It's so sad.
We need to go to Greenville. They're open.
We need to go. Yeah, we have to do that. But so where would you get a donut now that Peggy Ann's is not around?
I don't know. I'm just not even going to do it.
Because Peggy Ann's, when we did our donut thing on Facebook, Peggy Ann's won, right?
I think it did. They had like a Fruity Pebble donut.
It's been a while, but
it's been a while. It was up there. If it didn't win, it was really, really close. But it's one of those places you need to drive to Greenville because they have just a plain glazed donut that just blows your socks off. And you're like, it's just a plain glazed donut. But
well, in my opinion, you don't have to drive to Greenville to Peggy Ann's to get a regular glazed donut.
Right.
Because who has the best glazed donut?
Yes. Krispy
Kreme
is hands
all the
down
way
fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hot and ready sign is on. Or wait, is it hot and ready or hot now? Because hot and ready is like the pizza.
Yeah, that's Little Caesars.
Little Caesars pizza. So what does the
I think it's Hot Donuts now.
Hot
I think
donuts
the sign,
now?
I think it's
There's
hot.
a sign that says hot.
Hot
Something
ready.
about the donuts being hot,
Maybe
and they're
hot and
really
ready.
good. You can go by there and get them when they've come straight off the little conveyor.
Oh man, so
belt.
much fun. They use those little sticks and throw them in the box. And
Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm
fun
a big
fact: when I was in college, we could eat a dozen of those and drink it like a big old quart of milk.
Yeah.
And you
Can't
wouldn't
do
even
that.
know you did it. Like
can't do that
2
now.
hours later.
Is that what you're saying?
I think I would be in like sugar comatose or something. I'd be like it'd be bad if I
I
did
feel
it.
like we had this conversation with Eddie Reynolds.
Eddie said he could do it.
Dr. Eddie Reynolds
Yeah.
said that he can.
He could eat it. I say we take him a dozen donuts. and
Challenge
see.
him
Yeah, right. Let's
to
put
this.
your money where your mouth is, Reynolds.
I think so. Okay. But now Krispy Kreme or Dunkin', you would tend to like Dunkin' better, right?
There's, how like certain places have like an emotional attachment
I
to
do.
it.
Yeah.
So Christian, I've been doing a little rhythm for a long time is trying to take Christian out for breakfast. And we started when we were little, and then we kind of got out of the rhythm a little bit, but we started back now eating breakfast every Saturday
Saturdays,
mornings.
yeah.
So we'd get up early and sneak out of the house, hopefully let you sleep a little bit more, and we'd go to Dunkin' Donuts, and we'd eat the manager special, which now they're calling a chocolate cream frosted, something like that. Chocolate frosted cream filled. I don't know. But it is fantastic. It's a round donut full of icing, white icing inside. None of that like Boston cream stuff.
Yeah, you don't like
and like
that.
the pudding, it's got the icing in it, and then it's chocolate covered with another dollop of icing on top. So it's probably
And he ate that like every Saturday.
he would, and he would hold it in like with his fingers like little sticks to where it wouldn't get on them. He'd just hold it from the bottom, kind of.
Never been a messy kid.
No, and then although his room recently, and he, yeah, he wouldn't be messy when. So we'd eat one of those. So there's a sentimental attachment there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to go with the Duncan.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, I was going to say for our listeners, if you go to our Facebook page, the Colin and Carly group, you can go back and look. And we did a coffee series
Yep.
and a donut series.
And they got
where
lots of traction.
we had people write in and say, try these donuts,
Yes.
try these coffees. And then we presented a winner for each one.
Yeah.
And we've been thinking about getting that going again.
I think it's our moral obligation, Carly,
Yeah.
to
Pizza, burgers,
yes,
tacos.
donuts. Maybe we go into like the cake realm.
Cake.
Beignet,
cupcakes.
dessert,
We could do
cupcakes. We could do cupcakes. We could do, yeah. I mean,
It was a lot of fun.
and I, personally, I think, you're not a beer person, but I think we should check out different breweries and inspect those.
Well, I mean, if I found the right beer. See, the problem is, so the beer I like is Guinness.
Yeah,
And I mean, I just don't need those calories.
right. It is like drinking a meal.
It's like drinking 2 meals.
Yeah. Well, and we had the Mulligan's Gaming people on here, and they
Yeah.
have like the real nitro. Like,
Oh, yeah.
we need to go up there and get. You could do one, or you
get
could drink
to.
a couple sips of it, and I'll finish it for you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So we'll do that because
'Cause I
I'm
do.
excited about Guinness. I love it.
I like Guinness.
So I
I
think
don't
we
know.
should
I like
look at
fruity
that.
beers, kind of. The ones that are like kind of on the fruity side.
Yeah.
But I just never been much of a beer drinker.
Yeah, that's okay.
Um.
What do you? And if you're listening and you have like another suggestion on something we should
Oh yeah.
get like the top 5 list or top 3 list in town, we'd love to know because
Yeah. Let us know.
we just want to be a resource for people coming to the area. So they come in and they don't, they're like, oh, where should we go? Well, we know because we listen to the podcast. We're going to Label and getting a burger, or we're going to White Duck and getting a taco.
Yeah, and think outside the box. It doesn't have to be food.
No,
I mean, we could do top
but
5.
you have to eat to live. So.
I mean, you do. Yeah.
but it could be other stuff.
It could be other stuff too.
Contractor.
If you want to
I
know
mean-
the top 5 of anything in town.
Yeah, and half the time I feel like I'm Angie's list because people are like, "Hey, you got a guy for this? You got somebody that does this?
Yeah.
Do you know anyone who'll, whatever?"
And you are. You always do.
And I've got a Rolodex, which
So
is
that's
great.
great. A Rolodex?
In my phone. Is that old school?
Yeah. I was going to
I
say.
get out my old Rolodex
You
and
don't
put it
have
on the
the old-
desk and flip through it.
Yeah. That would be fun. Okay. We like to do for fun. And I know what you're going to say, but tell the people.
Tell the people what I like to do
We
for
like to
fun.
do for fun.
I like to play golf.
I know you do.
My favorite thing.
You love it, and you're really good at it.
I don't know why you don't love it, but I do love it. It's a lot of fun. So
I'm not good at it, and so I don't like to do things I'm not good at. I mean, you know this about
how many
me.
times have you played golf?
I've played golf a lot of times.
Like, give
Played in
the
golf
listeners a number.
Played in golf tournaments with you.
So would you say career you've played 10 times?
No,
More?
like 5,000.
Oh, if you can see her eyes, you know she's laughing and lying. She's played maybe 10 or 15 times
no,
and
I've
expects to be
played-
like Rory McIlroy. You have high expectations, I think. I think you do great. Like, you can hit it great when you hit it.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, we have a blast, I think. So if you all want to pray that Carly loves golf as much as I do, then that would be fun because then we can play it together.
Well, in your whole retirement plan circles, we had this conversation about I was like, so what do you think our retirement, not that we're anywhere near retirement, but we
When
like
we're 85
we
and
like
maybe
to
have
think
enough money to
ahead.
retire.
But your whole retirement plan circled around playing golf every day. And I was like, how am I a part of this? And you're like, you're just going to play golf with me. And I was like, oh, okay.
And you're like, I don't think so.
That does not sound like my
But on the
life.
flip side, I played golf Saturday.
Yeah.
Christian worked. You
Yes.
had alone time at
I
the house.
did.
And you just told Mitch it was like a great day
was-
because you got to organize and you love doing that.
I do love doing that. So I love hanging out with you guys. And I also
Working
love
around the
it when you both leave for a little while and I can get some stuff done because I don't have to work around anybody.
Yeah.
So I organized things and it was a great time.
Yeah. You accomplished some good stuff.
Yeah.
House looks great.
Thank you. Okay. Before we move on, is there anything else that you like to do for fun?
No, that's it. No, I'm just kidding.
Just play golf.
I
That's
love
it.
engaging with people, like getting coffee with some fellas.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like playing golf with Christian. I like going to do anything with them. And Cam, when he's in town, I like to play with him as well. He's our sophomore at UT.
Shout out to Cam at UT.
What's up, Cameron?
Second best college in line to ETSU. Love you, Cam.
Go Bucks, then go Vols. Yeah, so I like doing stuff with the boys. I like last night, you and I went on a walk around the MedTech corridor.
We did.
That was fun.
That was fun.
I just, I like being outside, I think, is what I find is fun. But I do like projects, too. Even in the midst of the chaos in our basement, I've really enjoyed looking at tile with you. Carly's got a great design eye, and so we've been talking about how it's going to look, trying to put it all together, going to Lowe's, looking at stuff. I like to go buy sheetrock now and mud and just get a list of stuff together. And
it has been fun, and we've been on the same page more often than not.
I know. It's because I've been praying that the Lord would get us on the same page.
Sometimes we're vehemently opposed.
You think I am like more of an old school traditional guy?
Because you are, yeah.
Yeah, and you're more modern and up to date, and so trying to blend like somebody who's stuck in the 80s with someone in the 2023 design trends. It's a little challenging.
It can be a little challenging, but
I feel for you.
It's all good. We've come to agreement on, I think, everything at this point.
And it gives us more things to talk about in quotes.
That's right. What does Christian say we're doing when we're having a disagreement? Or what
he says we're fighting.
He says we're fighting. We told him we're having
just a conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now conversations are
right. I don't know why he doesn't talk to girls though. That's just weird because I guess he thinks they're all fighting conversation.
He's afraid
he's like, I don't want to get in a conversation with a girl. Those aren't good.
Yeah, he's heard a few of them. Mostly over house projects.
Sometimes, yeah.
It can be hard. And also, but it helps us, I think when we're doing stuff like that, it helps us go, okay, we know a lot of people who do these things. Like we know people who buy houses and have to remodel them sometimes and, refresh them even. And they're going to be in our same boat. They're going to be, so it helps you have, some empathy for.
Yeah, and I think doing it too, we can really, like a lot of people will be like, how much is this going to cost? And I'm like, well, we just did that. We know. So, and we know a guy that can do that for you.
Right. And I was just thinking about when we bought our house we're in now, it was not it didn't go great. A lot of it was kind of tumultuous. I don't even remember.
What do you mean, buying our house?
When we bought this last house. And I just remember thinking, man, this is not fun.
I remember thinking, there's no way they're going to give us money to buy this house.
Okay. I'm glad you kept that to yourself.
I was like, the bank is just, Carly thinks we can get it. I really went to the bank just not knowing. And so I go, oh yeah, you're approved. And I was like,
that's really funny. Oh, but we ran into some paperwork things that were,
yes, it was not fun.
We won't name any names.
So we can empathize, which is one of your strengths is empathy. So we can empathize with our buyers during the time. I know I'm saying, here's the deal. Right off the bat, you're going to get a house under contract, and then the loan people are going to come at you, and they're going to want saliva and blood and hair and fingernails. And like every time you ever bought anything, whether it's a latte at the Moon Coffee Shop or whatever, they're going to know like where'd that money come from and why'd you do it.
And after you tell them that the first round, sometimes they're going to say, hey, we let a little too much time go by. We need all that again. So that's kind of what happened to us more than once.
Can you send us all your account information again?
Thank goodness that we had some reasonable sellers on the other end.
Oh, they were so
and
nice.
A great realtor. Michael McClanahan was the realtor on the other side.
His wife,
Janice. And they were so kind to help, just patient and helping their sellers be like, no, really, they are buying this house.
Right.
It was crazy. And,
it was crazy.
This is not, the place we got our loan is not somebody don't think it's any of the people we give shout outs to.
No, we've had lots of lenders on the podcast.
Yeah, it's not any of them.
Use those guys. That's right.
Yeah, just stick to the lenders we've on the podcast. It's been great. Or if you need a lender, just give Colin a shout out and
Yeah,
he'll
and we've
suggest you
got a
great
great
one.
in-house one now too. Shannon
Yes, Shannon
Jones, one of our good
Jones.
friends. She's at Keller Williams Mortgage now, so
Yeah,
give her a
she's
buzz.
awesome.
Yeah, we got lots of people.
Yeah, we got a
David
lot of
Brown,
good
Twan
people.
Wynn.
Yeah.
I can go on and on.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wish I had asked you?
What's your favorite thing about me, Carly?
Oh my gosh. Wait, that's not a question that I would be asking
It's
you.
well, I can
Hey,
tell
listen,
you,
if
I've
you
got
want
a
to ask
list.
me questions, then you should ask me to
Okay.
come on the podcast and
Oh,
as a guest.
I
But
think I've requested this
today,
numerous times.
I'm not the guest. Today,
Okay.
I'm the person asking the questions.
I think you've covered it all.
Also, I think I've covered a lot of things that I really like about you in this podcast. I've given you several compliments, I feel like.
You have. Like my love tank is full. Thank you for that. I think
It wasn't even on purpose. Like,
you just like accidentally did it.
Flows from the heart.
From the heart. From the heart, the mouth speaks. And so I think, yeah, you could ask me who my favorite podcast host is, and I'm going to say you now.
Okay.
I mean, because you just killed it.
Thanks.
You did a great job. I'm actually, worried about it, my job.
Yeah, well, I'm coming for you.
But I do love that we get to do this together. I like to, I want to go on record saying I love my wife, and I love being able to help change the world with you. It's fun.
Yeah, we do have
One house at a time, one family at a time, one person at a time. You and I, we're in it to win it, baby.
In it to win it. Yeah, it is. It's been fun.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see where the Lord takes us. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I know. And it's all up. It's all left in the hands of Jim Figley, really.
It is.
With his life.
But I think we need to, I'm going to throw podcasting on the whiteboard for him next week and say, I think Carly would be a great podcast host. And so, Mitch, you might have another client. We could have her do some other stuff.
I mean, I could start my own podcast.
That's what I'm thinking, babe.
And you could be doing yours and I could be doing mine.
That's right. And we won't compete at all with who's listening.
No, we'll have different, we're not competitive.
No,
never.
Yeah.
Well, how can our listeners connect with you, Colin?
Well, they can call my beautiful wife, Carly Johnson. No, I'm just kidding. I'm easy. Just call me, 423-677-7440. I would love to talk to you. Literally, call me. I would talk to you. If I'm in a meeting or on a podcast.
Be back.
And sometimes my voicemail gets full because lots of people call a lot. And so I promise I will call you back. Text me. You can email me at Colin at the Colin and
That's not it.
Colin, COLIN at COLINANDCARLY.com. So it's Colin at ColinandCarly.com. You can
show up at Keller Williams.
Show up at Keller Williams. People pop in there all the time saying, hey, we'd love
on the hill behind Barbaritos.
Yeah, we're right up behind Barbaritos and Minchie's and Buttermilk Sky. Like, we have the best location, really.
Yeah, it is.
Panera's across the street. Chick-fil-A is right there.
Yeah.
Amazing I don't weigh 400 pounds.
I know. How are you doing that?
Yeah. So you can connect with me that way.
Lots of ways to connect with you.
You can find us on Instagram, on the Insta. Is that what people say?
People say, yeah, the Insta, yeah.
You can, do we make reel? Is that what so I'm not like the Instagram expert, obviously. We have Carly and Marissa, Mitch's wife, is helping us with Instagram. And so, you can find us on there.
Yeah.
And somebody will tell me I need to find you after you found us or something.
Also, Facebook.
Facebook.
You have your own Colin Johnson, and then there's also the Colin and Carly
Colin and Carly group.
And then I have Carly Johnson.
Yep.
And
Twitter. I'm on Twitter occasionally, shouting out to the Bucks on there.
You are?
Occasionally, because that's how
You're on Twitter?
Yeah, I've been on Twitter since it came out. I was like, I think whoever started Twitter, he called me and was like, you should get on this thing. I was like, okay. And so I've been on Twitter since it was before people were saying Twitter. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
I've been on there forever.
Tweeting for a long time.
I've been tweeting for a long time.
Okay, well, last question. What gets you fired up?
Oh, man. So much stuff.
I know. It's
so
like
much
a lot
stuff.
of things.
You know what's getting me fired up? Golf season's coming up, really. It's kicking in. Spring gets me fired up. Easter's coming up. That gets me fired up. Doing podcasts with my wife. That gets me fired up. Eating a burger, drinking some coffee with some people, drinking a Guinness. That gets me fired up. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
it's just nonstop playing tennis, playing pickleball, just driving around our awesome city, looking at our beautiful mountains, hanging out with our awesome people. I'm just, whoa,
Oh, you're fired
it's
up.
time to go. It's like, I'm fired up.
I should have said, is there anything that doesn't get you fired up?
There's some things that don't get me fired up that you handle, like taxes.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes contractors not showing up. That kind of gets me fired up in a different way.
Yeah.
The economy, the
You stay pretty fired up, which is, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing.
It does. I think it keeps me out of the crazy house. So.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything else to say to the people?
People, I love you. Carly and I love you. We feel blessed to be able to do life with you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of our lives. And literally, we want to just do anything we can for you. So reach out to us, and it may be just that we get to say hey, or maybe we connect you with somebody that needs to help you somehow, or even better, we get to help you find a house or sell a house or invest in real estate. We do a ton of property management, so we'd love to do that for you as well. So.
Well, I wanna do the last little tag
Yes,
bit.
You get it.
Because I want to get the full experience.
You wrap it up, baby.
I'm going to wrap it up.
All right.
So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
In the hot seat. And I did enjoy our conversation very much, and I hope our listeners have too. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining the conversation. So until next time, I'm Carly with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams Realty, and I hope you have a great day.
Yes.